Before we start, my wife was insistent that I ask you, are we ever getting Hung season 4?
Yeah, right. I know that was left hanging. The husband and wife team that wrote Hung were terrific
Mm-hmm.
writers, but they broke up.
Oh,
They
well,
they
it's a
got a
great show.
divorce. Yeah, they got a divorce. They didn't want to write Hung anymore.
Okay. I was wondering what happened. That makes some sense, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so.
well, I had a chance to watch the movie today, Frontier Crucible. Um, I like to start asking always, how did you come to be involved in this movie?
I was sent the script by Dallas. Dallas is a wonderful producer, and I love the stuff that he does. He's got great taste. He tells great stories. I'm not interested in political stuff. I'm just interested in a good story. And Dallas finds them that are kind of like they have some cojones.
Right.
Uh, so he sent it, and I was a fan of Harry Whittington, who is the
Mm-hmm.
novelist. The script is based on a book called Desert Stakeout by Harry Whittington.
Right.
He is the king of the pulps.
Mm-hmm.
And about six, seven of them were terrific novels. The guy wrote hundreds, but six or seven were just standouts. Desert Stakeout's one of them. We turned it into a movie. It's not the Wild Bunch. It's a bunch of characters out in the Wild West trying to survive. Gets brutal. It's bloody, but it's a character piece. It's
Yeah.
characters messing with each other.
So that author, I was actually just looking into him earlier today. Turns out he was born in Ocala, Florida, a small little town in Central Florida, and that's where I'm from. So
All
never meet
right.
anybody from there. So I thought that
Yeah,
was
no
weird.
kidding. That's just a little town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read about Whittington. Yeah, his dad was in business there, and I think he spent most of his life there.
When you are playing a character that's adapted from a novel or a different source material, do you like to familiarize yourself with the source material, or do you want to go in a little kind of create your own character, your own version of the
I
character?
can see how people would do that, but you want to become as familiar as you possibly can with the story as it was originally told, even
Hmm.
if you decide not to use any of it. You have to understand the history, the lineage, the
Right.
archaeology of the story, and then you can build what the movie wants to be. Sometimes the movie is based on half a book, or sometimes just the characters,
Hmm.
and then you go off and do your own thing. I produced a detective show called Troppo for Amazon, made it to number 4 on Amazon.
Nice.
But it was based on a book, and we took the characters that Candace Fox had created and created our own sort of stories. We loosely based it on the book, but we took a lot of
Right.
liberties with the show. We had a lot of success with that. It just depends on the story and what you want to do with it. Whittington, we used everything. We used the plot, the characters, the dialogue. It really is an adaptation of the book.
Yeah, it's a pretty gnarly movie. There's one scene, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but there's one scene where you are experiencing an excruciating amount of pain. So when you're getting ready to film a scene like that, is it hard to get into the headspace to just like believably bring that level of agony?
Pain is one of the hardest things to create as an actor. Your body remembers pain, so it's letting go of your mind, which is tough, and allowing your body to sort of re-experience the pain, even though you're not really the pain isn't really there. Yeah, but I've heard of actors sort of putting thumbtacks in their boot to give them a sense of pain that they can then react to, say for a gunshot or something like that. The best pain on film, in my opinion, is Robert De Niro in Ronin when he's having a
Hmm.
bullet taken out of him. Jean Reno is pulling a bullet out of his gut,
Right.
and he's got a mirror and he's trying to direct him to how to get the bullet out. And that is some of the best pain that I've seen on film. It's not easy, it's easy to fall into the idea of pain, like ow,
Right. Yeah.
right? And when you get into what pain really does and the waves of it and how it comes and goes and the emotional reaction that you might have to the
Hmm.
pain, then you're into a whole nother ball of wax. And that's the
Right.
fun stuff. That's where you want to be.
So this is obviously a period piece. It's not your first period piece. Do you find it difficult to portray characters in a world you've never experienced, or do you find that kind of freeing to get to kind of live out something that is ahead of your time?
Well, or behind the times, depending on
Right.
what you're playing.
Yeah.
I've done both. I've done some
Hmm.
science fiction with The Expanse, and that was
Right.
way ahead of our time. And then I've done period pieces. Where you reach back. You have a lot more to base the character on because you've got real people to look into and real
Hmm.
situations and events, and you're bringing a tiny piece of that history to life, and that's always a lot of fun. And that starts with the
Right.
costume. I was able to raid the costume department at Universal Studios, where they've got costumes from the movies that they made back in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Oh wow.
80s. And you can go through there and look through the extra wardrobe, where they would dress up a bunch of town folks, for a
Hmm.
hanging or something from a movie
Right.
shot in the 60s. And you can find a lot of great stuff because some of that stuff is real. You could find
Hmm.
pants in there that were made in the turn of the century, or the late 1800s. So you can
Right.
find a lot of really cool stuff if you look.
Now, you and the whole cast here, you guys find yourselves in a lot of sticky situations, some predicaments here. When you're filming these scenes, are you ever thinking to yourself, like, what would I do in this situation? How would I get out? And maybe making your own kind of escape plan or
Are you
plot?
asking me to reveal the secrets of the trade
I'm
secrets?
curious. I'm
Huh?
curious your methods.
It just depends on what's required. Every story has a different set of challenges and requirements. And as an actor, you want to be able to use every single trick in the book.
Hmm.
And it comes down to which tricks you're going to use for which book, right? And that
Right.
really is, Robert De Niro said acting's all about choices. It's about the choices how your character chooses to react to a certain situation. And you're constrained by time period. You're constrained by what the script, says that you do.
Right.
And and the director, he might, shy away from violence, and he doesn't
Right.
want to see that side of people, or it might be the opposite. So you've got different constraints that you're working with as an actor, and you want to be able to
Hmm.
use every trick in the book to get it done.
Right. Well, my time's about up. So I just wanted to say the Punisher is one of my absolute favorite characters. I loved your iteration of the Punisher, and especially when you came back and did Dirty Laundry. So I'd be remiss if I just didn't ask, would you
Frozen.
be open to returning with the multiverse and coming back as Frank Castle?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dirty Laundry was one of the first things that I produced, and that's how I
So good.
started the company Renegade, and now we're making TV shows and movies. Murder at Yellowstone City, which we produced, was number
Right.
one on Netflix. That was fun. So hopefully it'll get some more westerns made because I'm a
Hmm.
fan. I'm a fan. I love it. I love them.